Hello YouTube, Gaming Goddess here with Mana Khemia 2, Fall of Alchemy, a sequel to the first Mana Khemia game. This game was developed by Gus and is played on the PlayStation 2. It also is available for download on the PlayStation 3 in the PlayStation Network. One thing that I would like to point out is, unlike the first game, we have two different stories that we can choose from, Resurrex and Orca. Depending on the character you pick will determine the story that will be played out, since no two stories will be the same. Taking into consideration this game is supposed to take place 15 years after the first game, so there may be some reoccurring characters as you play. Moving right along to the gameplay, which is actually pretty basic. The game is like the first game in terms on how we are going to navigate the map. Also, while we are on the field, we can see the monsters, but this time, instead of just striking them to attack like in the first Mana Khemia, we have to bump into the monsters and press one of the 4 buttons that are displayed. If you hit it fast enough, you will get to strike first. There is a timer on how long the button will stay above the monster's head, so just make sure you press the right button at the right time to trigger the first strike. During battle, we have up to 5 party members throughout most of the game. 3 of them will be up in front, ready to fight, while the other 2 are support. The support characters can be called to do an extra attack or to defend against the enemy's attack. The more times you are able to hit the enemy, the battle gauge will fill to unleash Unite mode. During this mode, we can execute an intimate attack, which is a combo attack that can be used by switching 2 characters consecutively. We also have the finishing burst. In order to get this, the player is required to fill up a separate gauge that is only available during Unite mode. Just like the previous game, we do not get experience points, but we get ability points that can be used to increase the character stats in the Grow Book. Items, weapons, armors, and accessories that you make are added to the Grow Book for each of your party members. It is important to always upgrade your stats, or you may have a hard time getting through some of the levels or bosses. The game is presented by a series of terms at Al Rivas Academy, where each term is made up of several weeks. During a term, we are given assignments, free time, and events. The player is required to complete 2 or 3 courses depending on the grades that you get, which will result in earning an extra free day or detention. During our free time, we can choose to do jobs, which is located at the student affair, open a bazaar, which is at the student store, or do character quest. Jobs can either earn you money or AP, depending on what type of job it is. I never really liked doing the jobs personally because some were a little more frustrating than others, but of course it's up to you on what jobs you actually want to do. The bazaar is exactly what it sounds like. Items that you make can be sold. Each character in your party has a different effect on customers, so it really just depends on how much money you want to make by doing this. The bazaar will also last an entire free time slot, so make sure that's what you really want to do before starting it. And last, the character quest. This is probably one of my favorite things about this game because it lets us know the other characters a little better, plus we get a character ending depending on the character that we spend more time with. To wrap up the gameplay part of this review, there is one more thing I need to talk about. If you ever played the first game, then you were allowed to let your party members go out and gather material from each area. Well, you can do the same in this game as well. But not only can we gather materials, but we can have them synthesize an item, or we can have them search, which will allow them to get items and AP. This is actually a pretty cool feature, and I actually enjoyed giving them different things to do each time that I had the option to mess with the bulletin board in the workshop. The graphics in this game are in fact the same as the first. The chibi sprites look really adorable, and the art when the characters are shown during dialogue is the same anime art style. There are also some simple graphics such as a character walking or a flash of light, but there are no animated cutscenes. The soundtrack in this game is also pretty good. It doesn't get super annoying, and there's a different song in each area playing in the background. Moving right along to the pros and cons, some pros would be 2 great stories, simple turn-based battle system, character development, smooth graphics, and some cool music. The only con that I can really think of would be the fact that there are no anime cutscenes, which is something I really like when playing these Japanese role-playing games. Overall, this game is pretty well balanced and is also challenging. If you are a fan of the Altaria series and have not played either of the Mana Khemia games, I would suggest playing them. Mana Khemia 2 Fall of Alchemy gets a 9 out of 10. This has been a Gaming Goddess review, and remember to keep on gaming.